the man buying taco from his usual spot, and after throwing some insults at each other, he proceeds to pay. As he hands him the money, the taco van suddenly blasts. The blast occurred due to the malfunctioning of a remote detonation device, induced by the crackling sound of the coins. As Kunikita is watching this news, a member of Hunting Dogs, Jono, visits him. He praises Kunikita for how he grabbed Techu and used him as a shield. If he hadn't done so, he would have definitely died. He then offers Kunikita to join the Hunting Dogs. Joining them and hunting down his fellow agency members is the price of his freedom. Since he needs routine surgery each month, the Hunting Dogs hold his leash. Kunikita obviously declines, so Jono shares that he will not only lose his ideals but his abilities as well. In other words, they will cut off his hands. Meanwhile, Ango, Atsushi, Kyuka, and Lucy are thinking about their next step. With Sigma's death, they have no leads to get the page. As Atsushi falls in despair, he hears Dazai's voice telling him to find a way with the strength he has. He decides to look for more clues, but as again he falls unconscious in his usual slutty pose. Before leaving, Jono tells Kunikita that the doctor is scheduled for execution today, so his ideals can protect nothing. He throws Kunikita's torn ideal book and leaves him yelling in anguish. Meanwhile, a sniper has Kunikita on target. Sigma wakes up and asks Nikolai why he saved him. Nikolai explains to him how easily he made him lose the gravity speed. Nikolai 1, Einstein 0. Sigma is confused as Nikolai was supposed to die in the hostage incident and Fyodor ordered a hit on Sigma as well. Nikolai explains that he used his spatial splicing ability to make a gap and connect it with another torso. However, why Nikolai escaped death when he agreed to die in the first place? Nikolai shares that it's so he could prove the existence of true free will, unlike someone who ate his friend and now his friend's crush is his crush. Sorry, Armin. Fyodor is the only person who understands Nikolai, and his only friend therefore. If he killed this friend of his, he would be free even from the grip of his emotions. To prove his free will, Nikolai is going to kill Fyodor, and for that, he needs Sigma's ability to determine Fyodor's special ability. Ango suspects that Atsushi is cursed and might be Fyodor's hostage now that he intends to use it when they get near the mastermind. In that case, Ango is prepared to kill Atsushi to save millions. However, these girls will definitely try to save him, so now is his only choice. However, Atsushi wakes up and declares that he knows where the page is. Just when Sigma held his hand, he shared the information before falling. Ango's suspicion is removed as Atsushi's brain went numb because of an overwhelming amount of information being inundated. The page is currently held by the leader of the Decay of Angels, Kamui. Just then, the sniper takes a shot. However, Kunikita barely dodges the bullet. The bullet hits the electronic lock and unlocks the door. However, Kunikita is chained so he can't escape. The door opens, and it's Kamui who uses the gas to put Kunikita to sleep. To defeat Kamui, they need to find out his location first, but Atsushi couldn't get a clear picture, so Ango suggests external stimuli to induce pain. Lucy suggests pinching his cheek while Kyuka suggests breathing on the back of his neck. Since they are so protective, Ango suggests using his ability to read Atsushi's information, then if he is induced with pain, it might help. Now Lucy suggests throwing Ango against the wall while Kyuka suggests stabbing him in the calf. Slamming him around, jabbing his eyes, flinging him around, or kicking him are also some options. Suddenly, Atsushi feels a sword penetrating his head. Someone out there wants to kill him. This makes him realize the location of Kamui and shares that he is currently in the middle of assassinating Kunikita, while he intends to wipe out all the detective agency members. At the explosion site, Yosano's car is blocked by a blast ahead. 2 guards are looking at the front while the other 2 guard the rear. However, as they turn around, not only Yosano but the whole car disappears. At Katai's house, he begs the guard to give him some electronics, as he can't live without them like a Gen Z kid. However, the guard refuses. Suddenly, he notices a phone by his futon, and just as he gets close to it, the phone lights up and sucks Katai into it. Next up is Fukuzawa, who is ambushed by Kamui himself in the interrogation room, and by putting a mask on his face, they lead him on the roof to throw him off this building and silence him. Fukuzawa turns back and tells Kamui that he knows who he is. Meanwhile, Dazai and Fyodor are bored with the number guessing game as they both can read each other's minds clearly. They both are what Kira and Elle could have been. Fyodor asks why Dazai isn't helping the detective agency after they are defeated at the Sky Casino. Dazai shares that as long as he can keep an eye on him, a particular person can move freely. The superhuman who exceeds even the gifted. Detective agency's strongest man and the one behind Kamui's mask, Rampo-kun. He apologizes to Fukuzawa for being so harsh and explains that he had to take over Kamui's sharp assassination plot. All the targeted members are safe now. The only reason Rampo let everyone believe that he is missing is because that was more convenient. When surrounded by police, he jumped off and sneaked past them during the chaos. He rewrote the enemy's plan on that page. The sniper took out the look instead of Kunakita. He rigged Yosano's prison vehicle ahead of time and swapped the engine with an electric one so he could drive past them with zero noise. The bomb set for the car was detonated early. Also, the music was set so guards could hear the actual engine noise. For Katai, he used an accomplice, Po-kun, who sucked Katai into a safe novel world. Fukuzawa then orders the boss of the detective agency to shut down this plot. The press is waiting for the son of KS Company's president to appear and talk about his suspected affair. While this lady reporter is screaming about how they should focus on the terrorists, especially the one missing, she is surprised to see the missing terrorist Rampo sitting at the table up front. Rampo tells the world about how the page works and shows them the clip of how they received this clip and then were framed in the hostage situation. He then presents the proof of copy that is already sent to every law enforcement agency. That envelope is currently in the garbage of every office. Rampo reveals everything about the page and persuades everyone to use their own conscience to see if the person who solved thousands of cases in the past 12 years could become a terrorist all of a sudden. If such a mastermind is a terrorist, how could he let anyone reveal his identity? Therefore, everyone should think clearly with their soul. As Rampo is being taken away, his car is ambushed by Minoru-kun, who's here to rescue Rampo. When Rampo asks why Minoru is helping him, he shares that he did as Rampo told him. He trusted his soul. However, the police surrounded them from front and back. Minoru shares that this nation's police might be idiots, but not all of them. The policemen approaching from behind are actually here to protect Rampo. Using this opportunity, Minoru drives off with Rampo, and on his way, he reminds Rampo that he has now split up the police force. They can now be classified as the correct police or the misguided police. Minoru is surprised to know that Rampo had no clue if anyone would actually believe his words and was simply gambling on his life. Atsushi is overwhelmed at seeing the agency members safe and sound in front of him. He hugs Kunakita while Lucy tells Kukuka to try her luck as well and get in the hug, but she seems to be holding back. Both of Kunakita's hands are cut off, but worry not, as Butcher Doctor is here to heal him. Yosano is here if they are injured, and Rampo is here if they are captured. That's how this agency brings out strengths that they could never access on their own. The enemy used this knowledge to cause the incident right when the agency members were split up. Rampo tells Yosano and Kunakita to look for Kenji and Tanizaki while he handles the funniest part of this job. The scene shifts to Fukushi's office, where two men in black suits are begging him to lead the counterterrorism organization. Fukushi gives no response, not because he's offended, but because he's having a hangover after drinking 2 bottles of Tyrant last night. Thanks to Techo's Tamagozaki, he's at least able to speak. Tamagozaki is actually made of frog eggs, and now Fukushi is throwing up again. Now that Fukushi is back to his senses, they tell him that terrorism needs to be countered, or the world will be destroyed. They intend to unite the world's justice by creating an organization unaffiliated to any country and free of any baggage. This organization will have jurisdiction over the entire planet. For this to work, Fukushi needs to take command and begin by destroying the armed detective agency terrorist group. He agrees to take on this mission only if he can change the priorities of the investigation. This idea is then proposed in the United Nations Council. However, most of the leaders laugh it off, let alone vote in favor. That's when he uses his trump card and introduces the commander, Fukushi Uchi. Since he is well known with a reputation as a legend, everyone is delighted to see him in person. Fukushi requests 3 minutes at the mic and starts sharing that he too was reluctant at first, partly because he was hungover and had no idea what these guys were saying, but he's here now for 2 reasons. 1. The medication worked, so he got over the hangover. Second, humanity is on the brink of being doomed. With a motivational speech, he manages to get everyone on board, and the organization bill for the army of mankind is passed. Fukushi arrives back in his room, and the terrorist everyone is talking about is already here. Rampo be popping up everywhere. Fukushi informs security to not let anyone in for the next 5 minutes. Rampo and Fukushi last met at Detective Agency's inauguration party, where Fukushi came in drunk, made a huge mess, and even peed on the brand new agency banner. However, Fukuzawa told Rampo afterward that he goes a long way back with Fukushi and he trusts him more than anyone, and he must be lonely now that Fukuzawa has found his own path. The decay of angels will destroy the state in 6 days, and they need to defeat their leader, Kamui, and retrieve the page. For that, they need Fukushi's help. Instead of deducing Fukushi's response or psychologically manipulating him into cooperation, Rampo simply wants to trust Fukushi as his dear president. Fukuzawa trusts Fukushi. Fukushi agrees to help them and asks for the plan. They plan to leave the island on this VIP guest ship. Atsushi is glad that Rampo was able to convince Fukushi that Detective Agency's future depends on the side he chooses. He is that strong. Rampo notices both of them sitting sadly because they don't want to get caught. Rampo mocks both of them. However, what really bothers Fukushi is being called a middle-aged man, as he is still a youngster in his sweet 16. Now Rampo is also sitting sadly with his face turned to the other side. Fukushi then pulls one on Rampo, saying that he's only jealous because he hasn't even spent half the time with Fukuzawa as much as he did. Rampo's reaction proves that Fukushi is on point with his jealousy accusation. The ship takes off, and Atsushi asks Rampo about Kamui's real identity. Rampo realizes that Atsushi wants him to use the special deduction skill. Atsushi is even carrying Ramune to bribe him. Finally, we get to see Rampo's special skill, Ultra Deduction, after so long. Kamui is someone who uses Fyodor and Nikolai as his pawns, so he must be a capable, charismatic person. Targeting agency means he must be directly or indirectly involved. Only one man fits the description, and the bottle falls from Rampo's hand as he realizes that the person named Kamui is actually Fukushi. Using the few seconds he has, Rampo walks to the smoke flare and lights it up. He then apologizes to Atsushi for messing up and tells him to run as he is no match against Fukushi, whose special ability increases his weapon's power 100-fold. Using the piece of the novel from Po-kun, Rampo escapes, and now Atsushi has 2 options, either running away or Tatake. Fukuzawa might be his close friend, but their paths diverged as he witnessed the war zones. To convince Atsushi to fight, he shows him the page, the reality amendment device. Atsushi decides to fight, and as he takes his battle stance, Fukushi cuts off his leg before he could even realize it. Being overpowered like that, Atsushi feels the fear in his heart. Not the fear of pain or his enemy, but the fear of being alone again. Up till now, someone has always been by his side, but right now, he's all alone. He prays for somebody, for anybody to show up. Meanwhile, another guy in a blue suit on this ship notices the smoke flare, and he takes off his hat, and it's Akutagawa. The impossible prophecy has come true. Rashomon.